Hi everyone, in this lesson we will go over how to relate decimal multiplication to base 10, which basically means to rewrite them as fractions in base 10. In the example given below, we are asked to multiply 3.77 by 2.8 by turning it to fractions with base 10 first, and we also need to check the answer at the end to make sure it makes sense. So 3.77 times 2.8 can be turned into 377 hundredths because of the last place value of the 7. And 2.8 can be turned into 28 tenths, again because of the last place value we have right here. So you do numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator, which should bring you 10,556 in the numerator. And in the denominator, you will get 1,000. Now, just want to quickly go over some tricks in multiplying base 10. Notice how there are 3 zeros in total when you multiply. And guess what? At the end result, you also get 3 zeros. So when you multiply base 10s, you basically just add the zeros together. So it's a really neat trick that you should remember. Given that our answer is out of 1,000, we can rewrite this as a decimal by first making our place value lines after the decimal point, and then start filling the number in backward, which is 6, 5, 5. And since we need 2 more place value, it will be bumped before the decimal point. So the final answer we get is 10 and 556 thousandths. And let's see if the answer makes sense by checking it with estimation. So 3.77 can be round roughly to 4, and 2.8 can be round roughly to 3. When you multiply them together, it should be around 12, but should be less than that because we round both numbers up. Okay, now how do we do the exact same thing without converting it so we can save time? Notice how on the right side I've given you grids, which again is the best way to help you to sort numbers and stay organized. So 3.77 times 2.8. When you align the second number, it's very important that you align it from right to left regardless of the decimal point. Now, following standard multiplication algorithm, which you multiply from right to left, you get 6103, and you would leave one of the box blank because of place value, and start on the next box, which is 4, 5, 7. Adding them together, we get 6, 5, 5, 0, 1. Again, notice how I'm solving it from right to left. So now, where do we put the decimal point? Notice how on the first one, we have 2 decimal places. On the second number, we have 1 decimal place. So on the answer, all we need is to add the decimal places together, which we get 3 decimal places. That means we need to shift the decimal point from the end all the way 3 spaces to the left. So the answer again is the same as what we got. So why does adding decimal places works? As I've explained earlier, when you're multiplying the base 10s together, you basically add the zeros together. So because you're adding zeros together, you're basically adding decimal place value. That's why these two are the same concept. Now let's try out a word problem. Andrew's car gets 29.7 miles per gallon on the highway. If his fuel tank holds 10.45 gallons, then how far can he travel on 1 full tank of gas? So in this question, we are basically asked to multiply the numbers together. So let's start writing from right to left. 7.92. It is important to know that the right side has to be aligned, but you don't have to care about where the decimal point is placed. Now, following the standard algorithm, you should get 5, 8, 4, 1. And again, skipping a space for the next number you multiply, you should get 8, 8, 1, 1. And the next number you're multiplying is zeros. So after skipping 2 spaces, you can plainly put 3 zeros down to show that you have done your job. And the last one, again, we'll be skipping 3 spaces before you begin. And you should get 7, 9, 2. Adding these numbers together will give you 5, 6, 3, 0, 1, 3 from right to left. And now let's go back and find out where we put the decimal point. Notice how on the first one, you only got 1 decimal place. On the second number, there's 2 decimal places. You will have to add the decimal places together and get 3. And your answer will be right here, which is 310 and 365 thousandths. Now let's quickly check to see if the answer makes sense. So if we round this up, this is about 30 times 10, which is around 300. And that's what we got. So the answer sounds correct, especially where we place the decimal point. Now to wrap up the lesson, how do you multiply decimals? You multiply normally, ignoring the decimal point, using the stacking algorithm. You put the decimal point in, which will have as many decimal places as the two original number combined together. And the reason for this is because when you multiply by base 10, you're adding the zeros together. Okay, that's it for the lesson.